everyone. Welcome to this quick, random live. There's a topic that I want to talk about in specific, but I'm going to let some people join us and then we can get started. I'm just wrapping up some stuff. How's everyone doing today? What up? Hello. This is just a random live. We're just going live and we're going to be talking about something very, it's controversial, but at the same time, it's very realistic. And it's about, can I become a UX designer within 3 months? Love your stuff. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Great. So some people are joining us from everywhere: Kenya, India, US. Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. Just wrapping up some things here. And just wanted to, talk a little bit about a subject or a topic that, I've been seeing going around and I wanted to address it. Also been having questions, people asking me the same question over and over and over. And I just you know what? I'm just going to do a quick random IG live and talk to you a little bit about that. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Just let me know so that way I can start. From Manchester, Nigeria, we got people all around the world. That's awesome. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Hakim923. All right. Clear. Clear your voice, brother. What's going on? You can hear me? Yes. Okay, great. All right. So let's talk about this subject, which is it true that you can become a UX designer within 3 months? Is it true that you can become a UX designer within 3 months? Short answer from experience, heck no. You cannot become a UX designer within 3 months. I mean, I've seen advertising everywhere. You can become a UX designer within 3 months, 6 months, whatever. I even seen within a week, you can become a UX designer, which is totally wrong. And I'm going to just point out why you cannot become a UX designer within 3 months. To become a UX designer takes a lot of hard work and discipline, right? It's not about learning how to move things around in design tools like Figma, Sketch, or whatever. I know how to do that. That's it. It's way more than that. So if you're joining us right now, we're talking about, is it true that you can become a UX designer within 3 months? My personal answer is no. You cannot become a UX designer because you lack so much stuff. UX design is about a continuous learning career, right? I've been in the design field for 19 years. And in the UX, probably 10, 12 years. And I'm still learning because it's all about, technology is evolving. And then you have, as a UX designer, you have to evolve with it. So when I see these advertisements going around, you can become a UX designer within 3 months, you take a boot camp, and then after that, and then those people hit a wall, right? Because they don't know processes. They don't know how to work with PDM engineers, with other UX designers. They lack so much information and knowledge that you only get that through time. It takes time to build something good. Rome wasn't built within a day, and that's what the mentality of people going delusional, thinking yes, I'm going to do it. I definitely can do it within 3 months. You can start, within 3 months. That's right. You can start becoming a UX designer, understanding, processes and understanding design thinking, because your design thinking will change every time you learn something new. And the only thing that will give you that is time. You need to be patient. It takes a lot of time, to become a great UX designer. And that's why there's a lot of people out there that, they do a boot camp or whatever, and then they can't, find a job. And then they are like in this bucket, like trying to like get out of there, and they hate themselves, and they're like, this career doesn't work, like it's total lie, blah blah blah. No, it's not. It's just like it takes time to, build kind of like your bucket of knowledge. And also, you haven't failed yet. Within 3 months, there's not a lot that you can do. You need to fail on different type of projects. Like example, like a website. You're building a website. You're creating the UX of this website and the information architecture of this website. In the process, you will need to fail in order for you to grow, right? To grow and be like, okay, so I cannot do that. And then you get another job where it's a mobile app, right? And then you need to fail, whether creating the information architecture or something, or prototypes or wireframes. You fail at something, so you learn from that experience, and then you move forward. These people that are saying that they can do it within 3 months, they're just like talking BS. It's not feasible. It's not doable. I had a conversation, kind of like conversation with this guy who said that, like, oh yes, I became a UX designer within 3 months. It's totally doable, blah, 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 whatever. And then he was saying like, you people that you think, when he was saying you people, it's like people like me that have years of experience. He was saying like, you think it's supposed to be your way, and like it's supposed to be, you have to wait whatever time I did in order for somebody else to do it. And I'm like, dude, no, it's everyone's journey is different. It's not like I have 12 years learning UX design, and then therefore you need to put 12 years of your life. No, it's totally different. Everyone's journey is totally different. And your journey will be totally different from my journey, from your friends, or whoever, journeys. The key here is to be patient. And then this person was just like very hesitant about like, yes, I did it, and and I was like, dude, like probably like within those 3 months, like you didn't know how to communicate with your engineers. You don't know how to communicate that. You don't know how to do handoff of a product or something like that, because you lack that experience. And that experience will only be given to you by time, And then I put him into a corner when I said, all right, so check this out. You have 3 months and you became a UX designer, like you said. And then another person comes in, you guys are applying for the same job. You got 3 months. This person has 2 years of experience. Who do you think they're going to pick if they need to pick someone? The obvious, like answer is like the person with the 2 years of experience. Nowadays, companies want things to be quick, right? Like they want things to go out, it's an MVP or it's a new product. They want it to be out quickly, because as consumers, like we need things to go out quickly. They're not going to hire someone that has like 3 months of like experience. Like I started learning UX, 2 months ago, like in December last year, and now I'm a full grown UX designer. That's not going to happen. It's just impossible. Again, like I said, we're talking about, is it true that you can become a UX designer within 3 months? In my eyes, it's a total no. It's just BS. It's not possible. You cannot become a UX designer within 3 months. Even with all the things that all the free resources that are out there, it's not. You can get knowledge, but not necessarily experience, like, how do I do this? Those people that I think that they know, you need to build a portfolio, right? In order to get a job, because you need to build like projects so people know your design thinking in your design process. Design thinking and process will come with time because you will iterate your design thinking and process. Another thing that they people don't consider, like when they think, they're delusional thinking, hey, I can become a UX designer within 3 months, is that the lack of knowledge, but also the competition that is out there. They probably forget that there is a lot of competition out there. You are competing, that they say you compete against yourself. Yes, that makes sense. But when it comes to a job, if you apply to a job, you're competing with hundreds of other people out there. And then what makes you think that you're going to become a UX designer within 3 months when you go to apply to a job and you don't get not even an email back? So that's what's happening. And that's what people are getting frustrated, and they are dropping off from school, from boot camps and stuff, because they don't get a job right away. But this stuff takes time. I've seen with my own eyes the contrast, the people that are actually doing it, right? Like they're actually like, I've mentored people before where they were like putting a lot of hard work into it, and it really did pay off, because these people were patient. They were just like, consuming things and getting knowledge, but also trying to get like some real experience out there. And some of my mentees, actually, they got jobs, but after, I would say one of them got a job after like 7-8 months, got a junior UX position, which is pretty good. But he got his foot on the door. Now he's a full-fledged UX designer. But it takes time, and it takes a lot of like patience in order for you to, build up your experience. And even though, like, if you're 2 years in, anyways, you need to kind of like go through the process and go through the journey. People just want to become something within a day, and it's just not feasible. It's not impossible. I wouldn't say. There are probably some rare cases where you become an aspiring UX designer within 3 months. That's one real way to say this. But all right, I see a lot of people asking me some questions. Give me 1 second. Let me just go through it. Opportunity to learning process about your Webflow. Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. I mean, knowing Webflow doesn't mean that you become a UX designer. It's just a design tool, that you can create amazing websites without coding experience, and that's fine. But you need to focus on actually what UX design is, and how you kind of like define your UX thinking and process. How, if I say to you right now, hey, and this is just like me playing around, like, hey, I want to create a mobile application, and it's going to be about real estate. How would you, how would you do that application? What are the steps that you're going to take as a UX designer to, complete this task? And again, this is not a design brief. I'm just like giving you an example. And then these people don't know what to do because they think, I know what to do. I go into Figma, open up, a file, and start designing right away. It doesn't work that way, Like, there's a lot of things that involve, creating an application. And then the nature of the project will dictate what type of design thinking and process you will take, as well as like your input. Like, what do you want to do? People want to know, like, when hiring managers and like recruiters are looking for UX designers, They're not just looking for like beautiful images and mock-ups that you create. They want to know how you think. That's a big thing. Like they want to know your thinking. What's your design thinking? How do you approach problems? How do you tackle them? How do you identify those pain points? And then you have a solution for those things. What are the steps that you will take? You as a person, you as a designer, they want to know that. And then these people that are saying that they can become UX designer within 3 months, they lack all of that because they've never been in a situation where they have to like think about all these processes and UX fundamentals. And they lack of it, because they don't know better. We got a question from Naomi saying, is it necessary for a UI UX designer to know how to code? I get this question all the time. Short answer is no. You don't have to. But if you know the basics of it, it helps you a lot. I taught myself how to code back in 2007, long time ago. And I learned how to code HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, Cold Fusion, and a little bit of ASP.NET. I didn't have to do it. I just did it because I wanted to learn. And because of that, I became, like a hot thing per se, because I knew how to design UX and also code at the same time. So I was taking advantage of those three things. And it was just like for companies, it was like, oh, you can code, but also you can design, but you can do UX. And that was like rare back then, like back in 2009, 10. And I was getting jobs like left and right. So it's not necessary. I know amazing UX designers and product designers that they don't know how to code, not a single line. But if you know how to do it, don't focus yourself into just like coding. Just UX fundamentals, UI fundamentals, learn everything about, what UX is and product and digital product design is. And then if you have time, of course, you will have time, then learn other things. It's all about learning new things. Okay, James is in the house. Gringo Phase. Knowing how to code gives you a leg up for customization. Definitely gives you a leg up. And also will give you an advantage, because when I was designing something, I was thinking as a front-end developer first. And I was like, okay, that's feasible to do. So we're going to do this because we're going to use, absolute precision or whatever, CSS I had in mind. So that way, you can actually design it because it's feasible to do in code. That gives you a more understanding in how to hand off like designs to engineers, because you speak their language. Again, you don't have to know how to code, but you need to have a communication with your engineers, your developers. And because I had that knowledge of front-end coding, it was so easy for me to, do a handoff for anything, website, mobile app, software, whatever it was I was designing. It was pretty easy for me to talk to them because I was speaking their language. You will learn how to speak their language as well. You don't need to know how to code, but you will learn certain things. All right, I have another question from auxiliary boyfriend _boyfriend. All right, I'm thinking about transitioning into tech. UI UX basically because I'm a graphic designer and I feel UX is best for me. What do you need to kickstart? Well, you already started. So if you are a graphic designer already, you have an advantage. I started back in 2004 as a graphic designer. And then, of course, I evolved to many different things. And today I'm a principal product designer. So I definitely feel you. You already started. So what you need to do is actually, I would suggest you to read books about UX design. There are amazing books out there that will, open your mind about UX design and how you think about UX design. There are many resources out there that they're free. If you want, I have a list. I actually have an ebook, a free ebook that it's on my bio. After this, you can go and click on my bio and just download my free ebook that will give you everything. I'll give you, how to get started in UX design, what books you should read, what communities you should join, what podcasts you should, listen to, what YouTube, channels you should probably go watch and subscribe just to see, because these people are amazing. And all of this is for free. It's free resources. It's at your fingertips. It's just like, people don't want to do it. People just say they want to become UX designers, and then they start, and then they notice like, oh, I'm not getting any jobs. I have people saying, hey, I want to start a career in UX design and I want to get a job within a month. And it's just mind blowing to me. It's just like, these people are just delusional of how they think. Like, UX design it's a career. You know what I mean? It's a thing. And people just think it's just like a course that they can take and they can just like become like, oh, okay, I want to become a lawyer next month. It's not like that. So just be realistic. And again, if you're joining us, we're talking about, is it true that you can become a UX designer within 3 months? My answer is straight no. No. It's not real. I'm just being realistic here. It's not real. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for the boot camps that, say that you can become a UX designer within 3 months. I even seen stuff like within a week or so, you can become a UX designer. That's a total lie. It's just a lie. Straight up lies. You can start getting knowledge. Yes. But become one, like, it takes years, and I'm not here to discourage people. Instead of just like being realistic, like what should you expect if you're starting right now? Accordingly to what I've seen and read and many, surveys out there, a person becomes a UX designer, full-fledged UX designer, within 2 to 4 years. That's what it takes, kind of. 2 to 4 years, that's when you kind of like, some people have done it in a year, and it's doable, yes. But you have to put in the work. You have to like actually put in the work and actually read a lot, make mistakes, do a lot of challenges and stuff to learn processes, to learn UX fundamentals, which is necessary. All right, James asked me a question about, how about 5 months? Again, it's not that it's not impossible in 5 months. It's just like you need to get time to know and experience failure and experience things, experience working on different type of projects. If you can get that within 5 months, well, congratulations, you probably are going to become. But it's almost impossible because companies are not hire someone that doesn't have experience. Again, like I said before, companies nowadays, they want products to go out pretty quick. So they're not going to hire someone that is like, oh, I started, UX design within, 4 months ago. And then there are applicants that have 3 years, 5, 7, 10 years of experience. Guess who they're going to hire? They're going to hire that person that has probably 5, 7, 10 years, because those person will articulate their design thinking and process. You, as a 3 months, 5 months, probably lack all of that, and you don't have that experience. So therefore, they're not going to give you the job. They're not even going to send you an email. And that's the reality of what we're living on today. I mean, like, we've seen it today. Tech companies are laying people off left and right. And it's not because of, they lack experience, because they're already in there. It's just because they're shifting, because of AI and other stuff happening within the company. So what makes you think you're going to start, your UX design career today, and within 3 months, those tech companies will hire you? It's just like, It's delusional. That's what I said before. It's just like, just be realistic. You know what I mean? If you want to do something, just go get it and get it done and get it done right. Not just like, there are some titles out there that you see like become a UX designer within a week. I've seen that. And I'm like, that is just insane. And then people buy these books or whatever it is that they, purchase to become a UX designer within a week or a month. And I'm just like, more people are just buying stuff like that. And then they're going to hit a wall and then they're going to be miserable and they're going to be like, I cannot find a job. Of course, because you lack the experience. That's the big thing. That's the big problem here. Again, I have free resources on the link in my bio, so you can check that out. I've written 3 books, I think, and one of them is it's a paid book because it's a 100-page book. It took me a lot of work to do it, and I did it back in 2021, which is named it's named Conquering UI Design. It's all about design, like UI design, how to use, colors and, elements and typography and, balance, rhythm, repetition. That's all about that. But then UX is way more deep than that. UX is like the big thing, right? Like the big thing is UX, and then UI is like somewhere in there. UI is somewhere in there. So UI is part of UX. UX is the whole, the whole thing, the whole process. All right, some people talking about motion graphics. Yes, that's a great skill to have. If you have it, you might as well use it if you want to become, motion graphic artists, or, even like if you're not going that route, animation, stuff like that. I did animation a little while back. Probably you guys were not even thinking about becoming designers. I was back in 2006 doing a lot of macromedia flash animations and stuff, using ActionScript and stuff. Pretty cool stuff that I did back then. Definitely motion graphics opens up a new way of thinking when you're designing something, because if it helps you, right? Like, and I'm going to just give you a quick example. If you want to move this from point A to point B, how do you do that, right? Smoothly, that it works. That mentality of like how to work from here to here and what it takes to make that move, all of that will translate to other stuff like design thinking. Like, how can I make this, pen, close a cap? You think about the process of like, oh, how do I make it? So I have to make something that clips, that's the design thinking. That's what we're looking for when we're hiring, UX designers, new UX designers. Just like their design thinking. How do they think? How do they process information? How do they come up with solution? How do they identify pain points? How they empathize with, customers and users. It's all about that. We got another question here. I'm a student studying and pursuing my technology degree. How much time will it take for me to master? Again, all the time that you need. It's not about, a specific time, like, oh, within a year, you're going to become it. No, everyone's different. Everyone learns in a different pace. So it all depends on you. I'm just here telling you that it's impossible to learn UX design within 3 months. It's just not. It's not feasible. It's not doable because of there's so many things that you lack. So I suggest you to keep going at it, keep learning every single day. Again, I've been in the business for 19 years and I'm still learning new stuff because technology, UX design especially, it's about continuous learning, right? Like you have to continue learning new stuff, new tools, new approaches, new design thinking, and you have to adapt to what's going on out there. Alrighty. One second. Any other questions you might have, let me know in the chat so I can address it. But I really wanted to point this out because I've been getting a lot of questions about like, hey, I wanted to become a UX designer and how long does it take? It's not about like a right time. It's depends on you, but also it takes time to build all this experience. And if you don't have experience, like real world experience, because you're starting right now, you're learning fundamentals and everything, then you can get some real world experience by, join hackathons, right? Like if you see a hackathon somewhere, and I have some of those hackathons on my free ebook the link is in my bio. You can join a free hackathon and just be the designer for that particular thing they're developing, or go to your local businesses and identify some of the pain points or some of the problems their website have, and you will come up with a better solution for that, and you document everything. And that way, there you go, you have a case study right there. But you have to do a lot of work. It's not just like, hey, I can design your website, and then you design it beautifully or whatever, and then you're like, okay, here it is. Like, it doesn't work that way. You need to identify problems within those websites or applications, and then you document everything, like what type of UX research you will do for this project. What is it that you're trying to find out? So you need to gather all that data, and then you can leverage that data to make that solution even better. So that's how you can start building your processes and your design thinking. Exactly. Okay, we have another question. Please, what's your take on using ready-made components for a new project? We see it all the time. I mean, if you go, let's say, for example, you got hired on this company, and this X company has a design system already in place. And then you're probably bound by those components, because probably whatever you're doing, whether it's a website or a mobile app or software or whatever you're designing for, they already have components in place. So there's not a lot you can do unless if you find a new way to introduce a new component, because the use case for that particular project requires you to design something new, and then you present that as a viable solution for that for that project. That's how you kind of like go around different things. There's nothing you can do sometimes because these companies already have their design system in place. It's not like you're going to come in and you're going to be like, oh, we're going to change everything. It doesn't happen like that. You need to know how to, kind of like how to fight your battles. We have another question from Danny. As AI is evolving every day or day by day, AI affect this UI UX designing field. Can we get into a field if someone wants to start it? And what should we need to focus on? Yes, again, like I said before, this career, UX design, it's all about learning, like continuous learning. We as UX designer, if I don't know how to maneuver or how to adapt to this new AI world, then I'm going to be left behind. That's why I'm one step above or one step in front of what's happening, because that way I can leverage AI to my advantage. It's not late to jump into the wagon of UX design. It's not. Yes, you see people saying AI is going to take our jobs. I see the potential of some in some particular companies, how this can affect UX designers. I see it happening. But in other companies, those who do not embrace AI, those are the ones who will probably get fired or, not get a job because they're not compliant. They're in a way they're not themselves to what's happening nowadays. AI is part of us. You have to embrace it and use it to your advantage. How can I make my process faster and more efficient? Well, if you embrace AI, you're gonna do your job a little bit faster. We're not going anywhere. UX design is not going anywhere for a while. That's my personal opinion, you know? David Habakkuk is asking, please, can I be web developer and still be a Figma designer? To be honest, what is a Figma designer? What is that? Figma it's just a design tool, a great design tool, but it's not, I don't know who started this, like, I'm a Figma designer. What does that even mean? I don't hear people saying, I'm a Photoshop designer, or I'm an Illustrator designer, or I'm a, like whatever tools, I'm a Premiere designer. It's either plain, I'm a designer, I'm an artist, I'm a graphic designer, or I'm a web designer, or there's no Figma designer. Who created that BS title? There's no such a thing as that. Figma is just a tool, a design tool, a great design tool to do a lot of like collaborations, to do UI designs and all that fun stuff. But it's not a term I would use ever. Like, oh, I'm a Figma designer. What does that even mean? What's that? Okay, you ready? You're designer _1. What's your take on using already made components? And for a new project, the owner is okay with taking components from the start and best approach. I already talked about this, bro. And I think it was you who actually asked that question above. So I already talked about this. Is it okay to learn the skills of business analysts with regards of UX? I mean, the more the merrier. If you think you have enough information in UX and you want to expand, kind of like it's the same question about like, should UX designers know how to code? No, but if you know more, if you know how to code, or in your case, if you know how to read like data and be a business analyst, then definitely do it, because you're gonna have an advantage, against other UX designers that might have just like fundamental UX design and UI design. But then if you come in like, oh, I know how to, I'm a business analyst as well, that's even better. So it puts you more like on top of the list. Andrea, hola. Okay, Danny _33202. Also, I was watching a video in which a senior designer was saying that those who use plain design process, like follow design system, drag and drop components, will not survive too long. Do you agree? Well, in a sense, yes. I mean, this senior designer is not wrong. If you just like plugging and playing with and dropping components left and right, and that's it, and you're not using the tools that you have in your arsenal to become even better, then you're gonna be left behind. Like I was saying about AI, people that don't embrace AI will fall behind. So those people will stay there. Whereas like the people that are like following, like AI and using AI to their advantage, those are the ones that will always be like on top. Again, this UX design career, it's all about continuous learning. I'm going to repeat it like 20,000 times in this live. It's all about continuous learning. You will learn always something new, something, whether it's AI or something, a new approach or a new tool will come around next year or whatever. You have to learn that tool. because probably that tool is better for, UX research or whatever it is that you're, trying to do. It's always about learning. Okay, we have another question here. How do I learn animation using Figma? My company always wants me to give them 3D animated designs, but I'm finding it very difficult. That's a little bit learning. That's another thing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But learning how to animate in Figma, yes, it's a great skill to have, but it's not necessary. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you don't have to focus on that when you need to learn other UX fundamentals. That's when you need to pay attention. If you want to become a UX designer, like a respected, great UI UX designer, you need to learn fundamentals of UX design and also UI design. And I don't criticize, but I do those people that create like this, Figma animation going from here to here or flipping cards or whatever. Those things, the majority of the time never going to be used. The majority of them. Because these are not functional things. These are things that you create to create a micro interaction or animation that you can pass over to developers so developers then can do it, depending on the project. People think, oh, I learned how to flip a car or whatever in Figma. They think they're going to use that on their next project. Most likely, they're not going to use that on their next project. It's like trends. They come and go. You learn how to do something. It's really nice and cool, but people think like, oh, I'm going to use this, glass morphism or whatever on all my projects or on this project. It all depends. Like, if that project requires you to use that trend and it works and it's a valuable thing and it solves that solution, then use it. But people just get in their mind like, oh, there's a new design trend. I have to use it on all my projects. It doesn't work like that. You have to make sure like whatever you're using works for that, project. It's actually solving that problem in the solution. Okay, needy. Gosh, prototyping is always needed when you want to make the user understanding how the system is going to work. Yes, definitely. Again, prototyping is very needed, and therefore, if you know how to, because what you do in prototyping is actually you kind of like showcasing how this will behave, right? How a car will behave or any component that you're creating, how will it behave, whether it's a hover state or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Definitely necessary to show and kind of like, that's how you communicate to developers, PDMs, stakeholders, like how this will behave. And it's very important to do it. Again, it's necessary to have that skill set, but people focus way too much on designing animation and stuff when they need to focus on real things. Like how do I polish my my design thinking and process? How do I do that? How do I make it smoother? Like in my case, for example, back when I learned how to code, it was because I was given, and I'm talking about more than 15 years ago, I was given, a hard time to engineers and developers because I was designing these crazy websites and handing them off to engineers, and they were like, how do we do that? What do you mean? Like, how do we do that? Like, we cannot. Back then, we didn't have all the CSS properties that we have nowadays and all the technology we have nowadays. Before, it was really hard to, code something that, and interpret whatever I designed. And then that disconnect between designers and developers. I was a designer being in an a-hole because of not knowing how to communicate with engineers. That's one of the main things, of the main reasons I went and learned how to code. So that way I can speak their language and understand what they have to go through. When a designer hands off like a design and you have to now create this and make it work and make it functional without breaking it, it's pretty hard. And people don't get that. I didn't get that before. I was just a designer being, selfish and just like designing things like the way I wanted to look really cool, whatever, and not even thinking or empathizing with engineers and stuff. Alrighty. If you have any other questions, let me know. Today I just hop on and just like talk about, is it real that you can become a UX designer within 3 months? And I totally say no. All right. Got another question from Itzelorok. Sorry if I mispronounce your tag name. Hey, currently on an IT project manager. I'm an IT project manager and a freelance graphic designer. Can my background give me an advantage when grasping UX fundamentals? Of course. You have 2 ingredients that a UX designer will need. Graphic design, you're already doing it. And then IT project manager, you have other skills, communication skills, soft skills that definitely will help you become a great UX designer. We just have to put that into practice and start creating, start practicing like UX challenges and stuff like that. Put yourself in a situation where you need to solve a problem. And those graphic design skills and project management skills that you have will come into play and will definitely help you, and you definitely have an advantage. Got a great question from Natural.Josie. What makes a good portfolio? Great question. What makes a good portfolio? First of all, good presentation. That's the first thing. Good presentation. Second, great documented case studies. That's what, people like me that will hire someone, people like recruiters or other UX managers, they're looking for great case studies, well-documented case studies. And then these well-documented case studies will have a narrative, will have a storytelling. You need to be able to tell a story about that particular project, whether it's a website that you created from scratch, whether it's a revamp of a logo or branding, or let's say you created a new application. When you have those case studies within your portfolio, that makes it good. When you have a well-documented case study that tells a story about what was the problem? What was the solution? What were some of the trade-offs? What were some of the learnings? What was the outcome? All of that needs to be on your case study, and that makes a great portfolio. Also, your personality needs to be imprinted in there in your portfolio. People think it's just about your projects and that's it. No, you have to put in like who you are. Who are you as a person also? Because they want to know if you're a great fit for their team or their company. And you have to somehow put in, some of the stuff in there, like about yourself. What are the stuff that you like? What are the stuff that you are involved in as of right now? What are the things that you enjoy the most? Some of those things, those cue things, will give them an idea of who you are as a person because they don't know you. And those are great things to have as part of a good portfolio. So don't forget that. All right, _.aaa.03 is asking for some books, recommendation and everything. Go ahead. The link is in my bio. I have a book in there that is full with a lot of resources, books, YouTube channels, communities to join. It's a whole curated resources for beginners, aspiring UX designers that they don't know what to do, how to do it, or where to join, or who to follow, or whatever. I have this book. It's on the link. It's on my bio, and you can check it out. It's totally free. Just click on that link in the bio and then go into, I think it's let's see, it's the number 2, 3. It's number 4. The link in my bio is actually number 4. It's called Unleashing UX. It's a free ebook. with a collection of curated resources for all of you guys. So go check it out. It's totally free, like I said, and it will definitely help you grow as a UX designer. Alrighty. Can you, there's a question here. Can you show us your testing sessions with users and the results and documentation of it? Unfortunately, I can't. First of all, like some of these stuff are because of the company that I work for, Dell. I work for Dell Technologies. Hashtag I work for Dell. You make me talk about this. So I can't because it's just, I just can't do it, can't talk about it. We are a data-driven company, so we just can't disclose stuff like that. Okay, most of the interview scenarios, they will ask how to build an application. So then what would be your questions while building new fresh app? Like, how would you answer this question? Regular question. It all depends on the connotation, how, every company or every, person asking you like, hey, walk us through, they're going to be like, hey, walk us through, how would you build an application and how would you answer that? They want to know your thinking, like how would you think, how would you approach things? Of course, some of them will give you like a brief, but just asking you like a pretty example of a quick question, like how would you build this application that would do this and that? Everyone is different, and not the process or design thinking is not linear. It's not like the design process is like, discovery phase, and then the research, and then the ideation phase, and then the design phase, and then the testing, and then the evaluation. Like it doesn't happen like that, but you kind of like use your mentality and like, depending on what they give you, the context, you will start like, I need to investigate. What are the pain points? What are some of the solutions that they already have? What is it that they're looking for? What type of users are using this? We consider ADA compliance. Do we have to design for it? Do we need to be like universal? Yes, no. There are many questions that you can ask when it comes to designing a new app. Like, do they have a current app right now in place? What is wrong with it right now? What are some of the major pain points they have? What are some of the ideas that they already have probably in their backlog that you can reuse to make it better? Like there's many ways you can answer this. It's just like, it depends on the context of the question. Like, what are they giving you? Are they giving you one line design brief, or are they giving you more information? If they give you one line, you can start like talking normally. Like, how would you approach that? Because what they want to do, they just want to learn how you think and how would you approach that problem based on the context that they gave you. Keima Balayu. Sorry if I mispronounced your tag name. Then how do we learn it? Information on the internet is too generic and not helpful. Yes, and it could be overwhelming because there's a lot of information out there. The majority, I wouldn't say the majority, but I would say 60% of it is just very generic, and some of them they're telling you lies, like, become a UX designer in 3 months, which is not. The way how you learn it is by, you have to be very, very consistent with your learnings. And actually, if you're going for it, like just go dive deep into it. Like build your case studies. And then people are like, how do I build a case study if I don't have experience? Go to your local, businesses, ask, see their websites or mobile applications, find problems that they have, and then you will, provide a solution to that. And then you create a whole, UX research, and you do a discovery call, and you do all of this. Yes, it's kind of like doing free work, but it's actually real world experience that you're going to be doing this. And then you're going to build a case study around that project. And then if some of them might, love your stuff because you put in all this work for them for free sometimes, because you're learning, right? You just want exposure out there. And then some of them will be like, let's do this. Or some of them will be like, oh, okay, I don't have the money or time for doing this. But at least if you come up with solutions for pain points and problems that they face, you can use those things and put it in your portfolio. And those are great, portfolio pieces, like project pieces that you can put in there, so people can see how you think about and how you approach things when it comes to project. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna continue work here, some stuff, but it was great to connect with you guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. Just like jumping into this random live just to answer that question that people were just like nagging me about, like, is it true that I can become a UX designer? No, you cannot. I'm just not to discourage people. Again, more to, check into reality. Don't be delusional about this stuff. Just be real about what's going on out there. Again, thanks for joining me. And I have 2 pools actually on my stories. Go check them out. It's about a show I'm gonna be doing live. It's gonna be about design critiques. So you send me your designs, and I will discuss and give you constructive criticism. We'll give you positive feedback, and also ways you can probably improve your design skills and stuff like that. So it's a new show that is coming probably next month. I will start. So let me know what you guys think. Go to my previous stories and just vote. We already have many votes, which is awesome. Thank you again for those who voted. Was it on Monday or whatever when I put the first poll? People love the idea of me creating a show where I, take some of your designs and bring it live and just like discuss it with all of you, and just give you points and how to improve it, how to make this better. Go check it out, and I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.